Here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. It's markets in the morning. Let's go. Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is the blockchain backer bringing you the latest cryptocurrency news and analysis. Welcome to Markets in the Morning. Today is Thursday, June 8th, 2023. It's Markets in the Morning, where we take a look at the price action of the cryptocurrency market, the stock market, metals, sometimes yields, the dollar, and we take a peek over there at the news of what's going on, any type of events that we have to start the day. Sometimes we can kind of get a grasp of what the market is looking like as the morning gets started. But what we've noticed, obviously, this week is like we've had major news dropped on Monday and on Tuesday with the SEC, even after Markets in the Morning was over. So we kind of get a peek of what things are looking like right now. But just know it's been a busy week. Yesterday being Wednesday, on Monday, you had the SEC drop the lawsuit on Binance. Naming a big series of coins, securities. And then on Tuesday, they dropped it on Coinbase and then named a bunch of assets as securities. And then Wednesday, I don't know about you, I was kind of sitting there thinking, all right, are we going to get number 3? And then we just kind of had silence out of the SEC yesterday. So I don't know if it was just boom, boom, and we're done. It seems like maybe so. I mean, Binance and Coinbase, those are essentially the two biggest ones. You think of the other bigger exchanges out there, you got Kraken, but they did Kraken a couple of months ago. So hopefully that kind of settles things down here for just a minute. But let's go ahead and dive into the market as the stock market is about to open in 1 minute. So today's Markets in the Morning segment will be a little shorter than typical. I always say, hey, 30, 45 minutes. They always go an hour to 2 hours long. If you guys remember last week, I had a late Friday Markets in the Morning because I was dropping my mother off at the airport. Today, I pick her up from the airport. So I've got to get things moving to get all my stuff done to be able to get that done today. Looking over here at Bitcoin. So prices pulled back as we expected that this would be kind of a washing machine happening in here for Bitcoin as we enter into the cruel summer. So this is just kind of my thought process that we have here for Bitcoin heading over for the course of June. Really, it's typical behavior in crypto that we have kind of rough Junes. And of course, we're dealing with a lot of fear right now. There's probably a lot of shaking up that's happening in the market right now. I don't know if you guys noticed yesterday, a lot of the altcoins that were deemed as securities by the SEC had kind of pretty rough days yesterday. While a lot of stuff was able to hold these lows that were set back here just a couple of days ago when they announced Coinbase, those coins that really got named as securities seemed to kind of keep dipping down even lower yesterday. So definitely a difficult situation on how to handle that. I think it's going to be personal preference for anybody. If you want to, tough that out, or some news going to change, that there's going to be something crazy going to happen next week, and there's going to be a digital asset framework. Who knows? But those ones were the ones that did end up suffering the most yesterday. But we've got a little bit of a pullback here in Bitcoin sitting here. These are just kind of my thoughts until proven otherwise, that we are just going to wash a machine through here and have ourselves this kind of summer, at least through the remainder of June. As for XRP is still fighting there against that 786 Fibonacci retracement level. Nothing's new in there. We pointed to it yesterday. If you look at it on each time frame, there's bearish divergences that have emerged really on every single time frame. 4-hour, 8-hour, 12-hour, daily. You've got them everywhere right now. So we need something to come crack through there and get this thing going. Now, there is something I had pointed to last week. So if you look over here on the right side of the screen on this particular page, I've actually got like a lot of altcoins, not all of them, maybe 20 or 30 in there, and the market caps of the cryptocurrency market. Everybody asks, hey, what do you think about the XRP BTC chart? Or what do you think of this versus Bitcoin? I find it very hard to find a lot of particular correlation between those two outside of really, it's just been ranging in there for a couple of years at this point. The thing that I pointed to last week and I made a video on last week was looking at like the market caps of these things. Like if we kind of measured where is XRP in relation to the entire market cap, is the market cap overpriced, right? In historical context of where XRP should be valued in relation to the cryptocurrency market, how is it? And in this, it's like you got a big giant bubble in here where the altcoin market has gotten very overpriced versus XRP. And we've noticed it starting to turn back down here, at least the market cap of crypto versus XRP or measured in XRP. One of the ones we were also looking at, let's look at the altcoin market cap. You can see it's still up there, but the big one was the actual total market cap of the entire cryptocurrency market, which is right there. And so we did fib retracements on this thing that, hey, it's gotten all the way back to its last fib. If you check out even the most recent little fall that it's had right in here, this has gotten back to another fib, and this is a rollover that appears to be happening here in the total market cap, meaning that the value of XRP is poised to become stronger in relation to the entire cryptocurrency market. And so you can see here in just these last couple of days, more of a breakdown has really started to emerge in here. It doesn't really matter how you like to draw your trend lines on there. No matter how you trend, it's got a little bit of a break happening in there. So we'll see if that picks up speed. The thing that has happened, and you can see a little bit of a back test too. The thing is that, and you guys should know this, I'm not a big trend line person. This is just stacking on top of the fib retracements and the Elliott wave counts that we've done on here already. Let's see, where's the Elliott waves? A, B, C correction back to the 786 Fibonacci retracement for the total market cap versus XRP, right? So we've been sitting up here. XRP has been painful. It's like, come on, the rest of the market's going. We're not doing anything. The market has just been stronger during this whole time period leading up to here versus XRP. But it does appear we're like in this slow beginning of a breakdown happening in the total market cap versus XRP. But XRP still, to get that breakout really going, I think we all know this is the starting point. This is where they fire the gun, they say go, and then we can take off. So still waiting on here. There's bearish divergences emerging as we're back at these retracement levels, but I don't know, man. It's looking good. Looking good. Hard to, XRP is my largest asset. It's more than 2x my second largest asset, which is Bitcoin. And my third largest is Ethereum. It's hard to not have it be even more. But it is what it is. This is the one I'm the most optimistic about in the whole market, and hopefully we have some resolution to our end of the SEC case right now. I'm not going to speculate what the narrative is going to be for all of this, but it is just so bizarre. And I was having a private message with somebody yesterday about how bizarre it is that here we are. We're at like the end of this long accumulation for XRP. We're at this moment. If you aren't familiar with the long accumulation that we've been in here, you should be. We've done the exact same retracement pull down in here percentage-wise. These things are completely identical from a time perspective, nearing the end. And what are the events that we have happening at the same time? We have the case with Ripple and the SEC in summary judgment. Expecting the results on that any day. And then next week, we're supposed to get the Hinman emails. And is there going to be some resolution that comes prior to that? And so here we are. We're at the end of our price chart. We're at the end of our accumulation. We're at the end of our summary judgment. And now the SEC is on a rampaging war against everything else. It's just absolutely bizarre for the timing of this. And it's okay. Like I could say this, it's easy to jump to the conclusion to be like, holy cow, is the SEC going to like rage war on everything except, and then XRP is going to be the victorious one here. That's like the hopium. That's oh my gosh, it would be insanely amazing. I mean, sure, I own stuff that would probably get damaged in that, but like I said, my number one is XRP. And I don't know that to be true. It's just hopium. And it's not really hopium, right? I don't wish that on the crypto market. I want the crypto market to thrive. I do not want, I don't carry a big vendetta a chip on my shoulder saying everything must crash and burn and XRP is the lone survivor. Then what cryptocurrency market do we even have? It's not even a market anymore. It's just one asset flying, and then we all move on with our lives. But it is bizarre. We get here to the end. The case is nearly done. We're at like any minute. And the SEC is suddenly raging war. It's unreal. It's crazy. All right. So Bitcoin, again, waffling around in here. That's kind of just going to be my expectation for the remainder of the summer. The ones that have been deemed securities have been the one by the SEC this week are the ones that are struggling the most in the altcoin market. I just have to keep flashing that on the screen because why not? It appears to be a cruel summer for Bitcoin, just to, at least getting through the several weeks being in here. As for XRP, we know it. We're back at retracement levels. Just waiting for some type of breakout to potentially emerge. As for the stock market, the NASDAQ get real close to that 702 Fibonacci retracement level, has somewhat of a pullback happen over yesterday. I think there was the NASDAQ fell about 1.5% yesterday, maybe 2%. But the Dow Jones was up maybe 0.25%. Again, one of those bizarre things where you had a lot of stuff up. The main things that were down yesterday were your things like your Meta, your Nvidia, your Microsoft, your Googles, your Amazons, all your little AI plays were down, but you had Ford, Caterpillar, Coinbase, and Tesla and GE that were up. So as we start today, it looks like we've got the ones that struggled yesterday back up near the top, Amazon and Nvidia. And then Meta still down there at the lows again. Coinbase down 0.68%. Nothing else to run and tell mom about. Yields are slightly lower. I think the first auction was yesterday with the shorter duration yields for some of these. So you got the 1 month, which has gone all the way back down to 4.89%. It's like, oh yeah, all the way. But you could see that, right? So this is in the fear of that there would not be, they would not meet the deadline. Now things are settled, so the 1 month yield is falling back down. Higher demand for the 1 month now. 3 month still holding up, but boy, just sitting right there, looking like you want to go. 2, 6, everything's kind of down, right? So people are banks and everybody's running and buying themselves some treasury yields right now. And you don't blame them when you've got the NASDAQ back at the 702 practically, and you got the Dow Jones back at the 702 practically, and the Treasury signaling that they're good for a couple of years right now. So, all right, Dow up 4 points, S&P up 1 point. NASDAQ up 44 points. So you've got a flat opening for the Dow, you got a flat opening for the S&P, and then you are up 0.25% over here for the NASDAQ. So pretty lackluster morning today, coming off of the NASDAQ having kind of a fall, and it was a tech sell-off yesterday. So yeah, gold still holding that support. It's been holding for a couple of weeks, it feels like now, since May 25th, right? So that was the support level that it couldn't get through, broke out. Now it's back testing it, holding it, and all-time high still unpenetrable. Penetratable. I don't know. It sounds like a made-up word again. Kind of like sexily. But yeah, all right. Holding that still. DXY starting to roll over, losing its momentum that it had for the last couple of weeks. We were talking about this yesterday. It looks like we're getting some more follow through on that today for the DXY. You could see that over here in the indicators. You see it on the MACD. We're finally getting the daily cross. The last time we got up this high, you could see that over here, crossed over, started the trend back down again. Seems to be the appearance of what's happening here again for the US dollar currency index currently. My thoughts are that it will break down. It will get down to that 99-100 level. That's the big question of what occurs from that particular setup. We've done wave counts on this many times. The logical setup is one more break. Then it's time to find out, does it go into absolute free fall or does it hold that 99-100 level? As for news, let's jump on in. GameStop got wrecked this morning, I guess. Let's take a look at them. Why did they get wrecked? Shares fall after big executive shakeup. Okay, so what, the CEO got fired yesterday or something? I mean, it's not that terrible. I mean, come on, it's still in their daily range. I mean, the chart doesn't look great or anything, but, it's still in there. It's still in their stuff. I know people care about that, though. You know what I was thinking about? I'm just going to say it. GameStop, right? It's viewed as like an FU to the hedge funds and stuff, right? That was the whole point of it, short squeeze, right? I mean, the GameStop business model is horrible. The customer experience of walking into a GameStop is horrendous. If you've ever been in one, I doubt anybody who owns GameStop stock walks into the GameStop store and says that was a pleasant experience. You are going to get hounded for every service plan. And if you say no, they are trained to overcome objections and harass you until you say yes. It's a total nightmare being in those stores. But, it was viewed as an FU to the hedge funds and to the government and burn it all down, right? It's kind of what it was. And I was thinking back in the day, Bitcoin, back in my day, Bitcoin was called FU money. That's what made it cool. You didn't have all this, it's mystical stored energy of cyber hornets who are preserving purchasing power as a store of value on their hornet volcano. And there is no second best mortgage or house. It was not that. Bitcoin had this like FU money is what it pretty much said. You wanting to check out of the system, here's some money. The original narrative, right? A fixed inflationary rate that gets cut in half, a limited supply, and it can't be printed. And enough people believed in it that it kept going up in value. That was it. But now it's like morphed into something totally different. And like right now at this moment, there is no other FU money more than XRP. Like, look at the SEC. Look at them going around. There is no other FU money like XRP. And dude, if it takes off and the world is burning because of the SEC, I'll scream it. I'll start it. I might write the F-bomb on Twitter. I don't think I've ever cursed on Twitter. I accidentally dropped the B word yesterday in the live stream. But I think that if you don't see that yet, that XRP is the FU money of 2023, I'll feel it. GameStop, it's done. It's done. If you own GameStop, like it's just you're not like, that gamma squeeze thing is not going to happen again. Like, move on. New York City could be in for a smoky summer as wildfires rage. I've seen Mr. I posting pictures of that. That's crazy. That is crazy. Wildfires in Canada just smoldering, blowing into the United States and just blanketing New York City. I bet it smells bad too. Okay. Jobless claims surged to 261, highest since October of 2021. It makes a good headline. But I was having this conversation with TXMC today, is that there was another one that was just last month, May 11th, there was a 264,000 came out. Didn't make huge headlines. I mean, it made some headlines. But then it got revised down to 231. So we'll see if that stands. It's a little bit higher. Normally we're seeing like 240s, 250s, 260s. It's nothing, or 240s and 250s and 230s. Sorry, not 260s. So it's slightly higher, but it's not a big buck of trend. And we'll see if that gets revised down or revised up in the coming weeks. As for crypto, the typical, why is price up today? Why is price down today? Bitcoin traders weigh the next move with Bitcoin price at crucial 200-week trend line. Yeah, so we haven't been talking about that. I don't think there's a reason to. We are touching the 200-week moving average. You can see it right there. But this thing just hasn't really been of a technical indicator as it once was, right? We used to used to really hold this thing. Moving into these times now, it is no longer that. So, that optimism of super mega super bulls, it just looks like Bitcoin's, when you think of Elliott waves, you think of, cycles, then you think of super cycles, and then you think of grand super cycles, and just that it's slowing down. Bitcoin is really slowing down. And I'm not so sure how much this 200-week matters anymore, because if you just go at it from like a math perspective and a rule perspective, and you have very specific rules that you use, you say if this, then that, Well, then if this, then that is no longer true for this particular indicator anymore. So do you say if this, then maybe that? Then if this, then 3 out of 4 times, then that? Oh, that was ugly. So, yeah. I don't know what to use that any longer. All right. Right, this is what we're talking about. EU to use blockchain for educational, professional credential verification. SEC's crypto actions surged 183% in 6 months after the FTX collapse. What an interesting metric. The SEC's crypto actions surged 183% in 6 months after FTX collapse. That's like putting a crypto coin there, like Ethereum's crypto actions surged, or Ethereum surged 183% in 6 months after the FTX collapse. Bitcoin surged 183% in 6 months after the FTX collapse. The SEC's crypto actions surged 183%. This is silly. SEC. Okay. If you guys caught my video yesterday and how critical I was of mainstream media and CNBC and Jim Cramer, you might have realized every time in the morning when we come in here and we look at the news that I'm like not serious about the news, that I'm not like, wow, this is very interesting. Can you believe this article is being written? We should dissect this and talk about how important this is for the cryptocurrency market, because I view 99 of it as just BS. And I apologize to those. No, I don't. If you come here looking for intense reading of crypto news on crypto websites, you're at the wrong place. We'll look at it. But just know I kind of mock it a little bit. Polygon Labs president testifies on democratizing the internet with Web3. Okay. SEC targeted tokens tumble. Binance says Gensler once offered to be an informal advisor. Yeah, so that was pretty. I do have to watch a video here. You always do this to me. I have to watch a video. I can't watch your video on my live stream. Yeah, so did you guys see that on Twitter yesterday too? There's a lot of stuff circulating that Gary Gensler had meetings with CZ Binance and Binance in 2018 and 2019 to be an advisor for Binance. Whether or not he got rejected from the role, backed off from it, that's part of the story we don't know. Sure makes it sound more juicier that he maybe got denied it and is retaliating for not being a part of the cool kids club. But yeah, it appears that Gary Gensler was offering to be an advisor to Binance in 2018 and 2019. And that obviously didn't work out. And he might be a disgruntled, not even former employee, but did not get employed. Nobody does that to me. Okay. All right. Trying to think. Is there anything else we need to cover? I'm just kind of I know I have stuff I have to go to, so I'm trying to get through it quickly here. So, all right. Bitcoin. Let's get back to this on a smaller time frame. Turn that off. Get rid of these silly lines. There we go. I don't have obviously the. We can put it on here. You guys know this. This is a thing we've watched for forever. We got there. We got within $50 of it. Pretty good. This just historically is kind of the play out we usually get after that, because we did end up getting what we were looking for. That we got through our fall off the peak, right? Then we got our 702 retracement. Then we got our capitulation, short capitulation, which is actually kind of what we expected. That's why the box was not drawn super deep for Bitcoin. Then you can see price holds in here, right? You see we get our hold. You get our little bit of our shorts pop out in here. And then we roll over, and then we have the capitulation here of one teeny little wick lower, which we discussed last week. And what do you know? We do end up getting it. I'll take it. We get the insane news. We get the media barrage of Jim Cramer telling us to sell here after waiting 2 months for price to finally get there. Jim Cramer accepting all the payments that he's accepting from all the people that tell him what to do. tries to shake you out because he's such a great guy who's looking out for you. And then now this is just kind of the thoughts going on. And it's not, and like, I would be massively surprised if we played out exactly like that. We typically have variations of how things play out down in here. So this is just a blueprint of what we've seen. We can look at other blueprints, and they'll look different. We essentially be here. So that would be a variant. So definitely not expecting exactly the same, but we can kind of have an idea of how these have been before. But hopefully that low is it. And if it's not it, maybe $50 lower. But in circumstances like this that we've seen before, this is our bottom. Now the thing, of course, is we're dealing with all the SEC stuff. So all the tokens that have now been deemed as securities by the SEC. Is there going to be further issues with those? That's a hard thing to do to like predict. We've been through this before. So with XRP, that was pretty much a nightmare at that time. We watched 80% crashes happen for XRP. Shortly after that happened, even though it was like the most bullish moment of the absolute market, Bitcoin had just broken through its all-time high after 3 years of bear market, just broke through the all-time high 5 days after the break of the all-time high, the day after the weekly candle closes. The SEC attacks Ripple and XRP. We dropped 80%. Even in the most bullish of markets, we dropped 80%. One of the things with Algorand was actually accused of being a security a couple months ago, maybe a month ago. I can't remember exactly when. Mixed with the reduced developer activity that was happening over there on Algorand. I was like, you know what? I'm not playing in this sandbox. I'm out. And Algorand has just continued dumping. So the question is Algorand's dumping due to just abandonment due to the SEC at this point now, and in addition to maybe the big wigs seeing that developer data that it was the most abandoned by developers over the course of the last year, or is it due to the SEC? And so just historically we see kind of some rough action happening for these things, but the hard part about it this is the hard part when I do go through it. So my mind and I don't know the right answer. I'm just telling you the way my brain thinks about it. My brain tells me historically SS hits the fan for these coins when they get labeled as a security, and it's hard for them to come back. But we've been in this for 2.5 years now, and we're going to be getting some type of response on this summary judgment pretty soon. And if the summary judgment comes back and says to the SEC, you failed to prove that XRP was a security, okay? Not even necessarily that she ever says anything about the secondary sales, which is what a lot of people want. But if we just stick to the ruling, right? If we just talk about, did the SEC do a good enough job proving that Ripple was selling securities? And Ripple's argument has been there's been no investment contract. That was their closing arguments for the whole thing. And if that ends up being successful, and if Ripple is victorious based on the investment contract argument, then I'm pretty sure all these other ones that the SEC is claiming are securities are going to be in the same boat and going to use the same argument that Ripple did, and said there was no investment contract, right? You have the Howey test, you have the multiple prongs, and you got to meet all the prongs. One of them is there's an actual investment contract. There's no investment contract with Ripple for XRP. So if the judge recognizes that and rules in Ripple's favor, does that also benefit all these other coins that have been accused of being securities by the SEC, as they will also fail the Howey test, right? They will not meet all the prongs. And so you say to yourself, okay, all this stuff's going to hit the fan on these coins that have been labeled as securities by the SEC, because that's what's happened. But we know we're like within a week, potentially, of at least like serious progress. Hinman emails, and then what is it? Is it a week later? Is it a month later that the judge comes out and rules and gives us that and tells us that, you know, the investment contract, right? Does this case like free every coin, right? We don't really know. And it's the circumstances we're in right now are different than they were 2.5 years ago because we had no precedent to fall back on. Ripple is going to be the precedent setter in this market. And we're really close to getting that. So it's a very difficult situation. And is this the SEC throwing one last temper tantrum, as Brad Garlinghouse has stated, that they're just throwing S against the wall, hoping that it sticks, because they're likely backed into a corner. And it's about to get really dodgy there for the SEC here come pretty soon. And this is their attempt. That's just throwing stuff against the wall before we get there. So it's a tough one. That's a personal decision on all of them. I'm not really gonna tell you which way to go with it because I could see it getting really bad for the altcoins, and then for the ones that are labeled as securities. And I could also see if we suddenly get this ruling and they say no investment contract was ever created. Boom. All the other ones are no longer, they already have their victory ticket. You know what I mean? And anything the SEC has said is total baloney. So, all right, that's it. I just wanted to talk about those other coins, the ones that were labeled as securities by the SEC. Otherwise, yep, nice to see Bitcoin is still just holding, kind of expecting washing machine here for the next month or so. XRP, just, man, if we can just get ourselves a little bit of a breakout happening in here, that would be just absolutely glorious. There are bearish divergences that have showed up here. I've shown them on the 4-hour, 8-hour, 12-hour, and daily time frame as we're back at these retracement levels. That's also a pretty nasty rejection that happened right there. We know it did come with news associated with it as well when you had the SEC going after all of crypto. But still, in general, we were kind of looking for something to just show up at the 786 or in these retracement levels at least, and something did arrive. So breakout, and then you'll see my wall of worry gone. I'll start being a fun guy if we get through there, but still having to be super cautious while we're sitting there. The Dow Jones Industrial Average up 11 points. NASDAQ up 55. NASDAQ had a rough day yesterday. Tech had a sell-off there at the end of the day. Looks like tech is doing a little bit of reclaiming this morning. Dow practically flat. S&P practically flat. Metals are the ones that are slightly up. You have silver up 3.5%, and you have gold up 1.5%. And the DXY, U.S. dollar currency index, taking its tumble as we showed yesterday. All of the indicators had started to roll over. So this is also our rollover level last time and was the evidence of the beginning of the downtrend as the MACD went in for its cross, which it closed it out yesterday and confirmed it today. So otherwise, that's it for news, guys. That's it for news. That's it for charts. That's how we're starting our day. The washing machine's in. Trying to see if these ones that got called securities by the SEC can find themselves some support. Algorand just can't seem to find itself a bottom. Otherwise, a slight bounce here today in the market, or at least holding. I wouldn't even necessarily call this a bounce. I'd call this more of just holding steady after an otherwise, rough couple of days. All right, let's hop into the chat, guys. And I got to wrap it up fairly quickly today just because, like last week when I went to drop my mom off at the airport, I will be picking her up today and I have a lot I have to get done before I do that. All right. Silas says, hey, BCB, do you still think we have an ABC on XRP? Well, it's not what I think at this point. I'm just presenting where we're at. We're at the retracement levels. When we're back here, I don't know what's going to happen at the retracement levels. What I know is you can reject massively from here, but if you get through them, that's a breakout. So that's where we're at right now. I would not say that I'm leaning towards we have to have an ABC. We're at the retracements, and if you're going to have an ABC, this is where they will happen from. This is it. If you get through here, that's a breakout, right? So we're at the retracement levels, just like the the blockchain backer character in the intro. We get back, you see him, he's like, that's where I'm at right now. I'm like, what are we gonna do? We're here. Now this is trend change, right? This is breaking out. If we get it, but these also break down. And I think I made a video and I showed all the examples. Here's where it breaks out, here's where it breaks down, here's where it breaks out, here's where it breaks down. Hopefully we get the breakout. But thank you. William Slater, look at XRP USD, heavy increase versus Bitcoin USD, heavy decrease in March 2017. It's very similar to now. My message last week was misinterpreted. I still don't understand that. Well, you said March 15th. I remember your message. You said, look at Bitcoin USD. You said, look at XRP BTC on March 15th of 2017. Now look at XRP heavy increase versus Bitcoin heavy decrease in March of 2017. Okay. So now we're talking about the whole run. Yeah, this is the big run. We know that. This is the whole, and this ends on April 1st. So but I still think you're fighting an argument that I'm not arguing. My argument is that XRP has never gone up without the altcoin market. It's never been that it's needed the altcoin market. My argument has never been Bitcoin has to be going up. So I think you're trying to argue something that I'm not arguing on. But thank you. XRP 923 says, looks like Zcash bottomed out. I don't know, man. Let's let the whole market settle down right now. I don't, when you see markets bottom, you kind of know it in your gut. You kind of feel like garbage at first. You feel like real garbage. And then suddenly big numbers start getting printed. Big, stupid, silly numbers start getting printed. And we don't have those. This is not acting like a market that is slingshotting back up. One that's interesting is that somehow Bitcoin Cash has still held this thing so well. Again, I'm not heavily in Bitcoin Cash anymore, but you wouldn't. Man, it sure looks like it. It really does. And again, for those who don't know, Bitcoin Cash, one of the reasons I liked it, this is not a security. There's zero chance this is a security. So this one doesn't have those same risks that some of the other ones do. But we'll see. I digress. We'll find out. But Zcash, still none of these have thrown off that signal of boom. There's 20%. There's 30%, and I'm dead serious about those numbers. 20%, 30% in a day. We start markets in the morning. There's insanity on the right side of the screen. That's the day we'll know. And then we'll look back in hindsight and say, see, it was back there. I told you it was back there, guys. If you would have just listened to me. But right now, what do? We say up, we say down, we say sideways, and then you say, see, I told you so. I'm just kidding. That stuff drives me nuts. Right. So, and that's my point here on XRP. I don't know if it's going to get through the retracement level. If it gets through it, I'm going to cheer for it. I'm going to be excited and thrilled, but I'm not going to claim victory that called it. I know it's a very significant resistance level, and if we can get through it, let's go. Jason, I don't know if I should pronounce that like in a French accent or a léger. Hey, Jason, what's up? I'm so sorry. Member for 2 months. Hey, BCB, I was looking at the link chart yesterday. It looks pretty good. Buy zone. Your thoughts? Man, I would have hoped we would not continue that range on link. So I'm not a huge fan of, once again, getting back down to the bottom of the range. The big question is if this is spring in the market. Is this spring happening? XRP, please have it on there still. Dang it, come on. Anyway, what were we talking about? Heading to spring phases in here of endings, right? Like when in 2017, This was how it was, right? For XRP, this was your spring phase, and that was your ending, right? That's what it looked like. Let's just go grab it. Let's not be lazy. We'll just do it like that. Okay. So we had an ABC at the end here. We had a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, followed by a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rolls back up, and then we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right. So that's how you end here. What this would have been, right, is this would have been the spring ending happening in the market. And so I've been looking around the rest of the market to look like, do we have other things that happen in here? If you recall, we talked a lot about how, the trend line would break, it would scare the crud out of the market. You'd be here at your final spring phase in Wyckoff accumulation. I'm not going to pull up the Wyckoff and talk about selling climaxes, secondary tests, springs versus last point of supports today. But this would be your spring, and you get trend line break, it would scare the crud out of the market, right? So I've been looking around at the rest of the market to say, do we have anything showing appearances like that? Are we getting that? Is that kind of that spring that we're experiencing right now for some of these assets happening in here? But some of them were not, right? Some of them that have been declared these securities, like Algo, is just wrecked, right? But like SHIB, I know we're going to look at SHIB, guys, everybody's favorite meme coin. This would be the similar thing, right? There you have it. There's your Wyckoff. Here's your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's your ABC, right? These are like the things we're looking for here on XRP. And then you go on for your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trend line break. 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Holding trend. 5 is break, right? That's what this was here for XRP back in the day. Holds trend, then break. Break signifies end of Wyckoff, but still maintaining lows. That's your case over here. I'm not sitting here screaming SHIB's going to the moon, but I'm showing you that this is like the phase. Right? And this is like a phase no, I didn't mean to do that. This is a phase we were looking for to appear right here, right now in the market. We're not getting it for XRP. XRP is going back, but we're getting that from other parts of the market, right? So your questions about Link, hopefully it's just a spring phase. XRP kind of deviated a little bit here, but the other aspects of the market continued to do that same thing that we were looking for there on XRP, and there it is right now. So we'll see. Sure hope so. Jeremiah Coker says, hey, BCB, the SEC listed a number of large projects in its suit. Do you think this is coordinated effort to drive prices down for big money, lower entry points, or does it feel more like an attack? So that's a fully speculative guess, right? I have no clue. But like it is an awful lot, right? Like out of the top, right? Let's go look. Right? What has been named a security here? BNB. It is. I think it's a security all day, every day. Cardano, Solana, Matic, Tron, Litecoin, and Polkadot got skipped. Right? Those did not. I don't think AVAX got. No, I don't think it did. SHIB did not. Atom, Chainlink did not. I can't recall if Uniswap did in another one. I'm not sure. I don't think so. Then we get pretty good down here. Then Filecoin, Near, the Sandbox, Algorand, Mana, AXS, X Infinity. Is it Axe or Axie? I don't know how it's called. Axe. I don't think Flow did. No. Chili's. I don't know that one. I'm probably sounding like Jim Cramer right now. Cardanzo, Solano, Chili's. Probably, it looks like a chili, right? Someone say Chili's. It's got to be Chili's. Okay, I'm going to eat some delicious chilies and burn myself. Okay. So yeah, I mean, out of the top, like how many of we have? You have your Bitcoin and your Ethereum, right? Otherwise, what else has been declaimed as security? Security, security, security. So 1 and 2 are not a security, but apparently 3, 4, 5, 7, and 8 are securities. Right. So Doge, you're safe, according to the SEC. Litecoin is safe so far, I believe, and DOT, and AVAX, and SHIB. So out of your like top 20, the only ones that are like cryptos and we'll exclude ones that are securities and exclude ones that are stable coins. And I don't know. Do we count wrapped Bitcoin? I don't count wrapped Bitcoin for anything. So in your top 20, the ones that are technically not deemed as securities as of yet by the SEC are SHIB, AVAX, Polkadot, Litecoin, and Dogecoin. So, excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum, 5 of them have not been deemed securities by the SEC. If you include Bitcoin and Ethereum, 7 out of the top 20 have not been deemed securities. The big question out there, and hopefully the crypto market is rallying together outside of Max Kaiser, who's a loser, that XRP does come out victorious in this, Ripple does come out victorious in this. And that, knock on, that's not wood. There we go. Knock on wood, Ripple wins. And that there was no investment contract. There was none, right? I mean, we all know that, right? There's no investment contract. So, the reason why the staking stuff is, has that like potential for the investment contract is that you are giving your assets to the platform, and you're expecting, right? You have this kind of contractual agreement. I let you hold on to my assets, and in return, you're going to give me back a profit, right? You're going to stake them for me, and you're going to give me a profit. So that they were being treated as securities. So someone did have an expectation of profit based on the efforts of you. But still, right? You didn't initiate. It's still so debated because like you didn't issue the asset. I'm just holding your assets. All right, I don't get it. Anyway, there's no investment contract with XRP. We all know it. There's nothing I can do with it to say, hey, you owe me profits for my XRP because we had an agreement. Really, what was your agreement? There was none. Okay, there's no contract. Failed. Howey test failed. Okay. But your question was, does it feel like an attack or does it feel like lower entries? Like, what if it is? Like, what if it is an attack on? So I see. I can put the tinfoil hat on so well that I can say maybe it is a legitimate attack on 10, but there's like 2 of them in there hidden that like they are doing that with it, right? They are working together. But you have to be pretty far reaching to come to that conclusion. That's not something I could prove. So I can't hang my hat on that and say the SEC is just knocking these back so them and their buddies can buy it. Is that possible? Is that behavior within the realm of the elites and the banks to do that? You better believe it. That's what they did in 2018. They were sitting there trash talking it the whole time, and then it turns out they had a bunch of Bitcoin at the end of it. Coming into the bull run, suddenly they had a bunch of Bitcoin. Really? The whole time you were talking trash. The whole time you were telling people, if like Jamie Dimon was saying, if anybody trades Bitcoin, you're fired. Come out of it, and we're in the middle of the bull run. Suddenly they had a bunch of Bitcoin. What? So will they lie? Of course they will lie. Is Goldman Gary working for his buddies? Probably.
But Gary's also a little dainty B word. You know what I mean? He waves his hands in the air. I guarantee it's the wettest, noodliest, coldest, limpest handshake in the history. And like, you know how like those like really like formal women, like instead of like handshaking you, they stick their hand out to you and like hold it like a cat paw and like hold it out, and that's how you shake. That's what shaking his hand is like. He just reaches his out all limp, and you touch it and you kind of shake it, and then his fingers, like, they aren't tough, like they fold in on themselves when you squeeze. You're like, oh my gosh, I break your hand. That's what he is like. And for that, you give him a little bit of power, and he's been bullied his whole life. His whole life he's been bullied. For his whole life, it's like John Deaton said, never picked for the basketball team his whole life. Give him a little bit of power, and he goes nuts with it. All right, I gotta move on. Hip Flask. Remember, 1 month, just like to say, you and this community are the best, BCB, even if we are all dinguses. Well, a dingus is a good thing. That's the way I perceive it. So, it's a high quality characteristic to have. All right, thank you, Ms. Flip Flask. Mr. Nobody, hi BCB. What are your thoughts on alts that didn't run in 2020 and 21 and at least retracing the 702 of the 2018 all-time high? Could be a nice multiple of current price, right? Yeah, so like if you actually look at how big the runs were in 2021, well, some stuff didn't set new all-time highs. It does get overlooked how big those percentages were. Like, for example, if you were like buying Sia coin back in the back here in this bear market, right? Like, people are like, oh, that is pathetic. That is pathetic. This was a bigger bull run than Bitcoin. Like, even like it's from the bottom, right? From the bottom, which most people, you're not going to catch the bottom with your whole bag. It was an 8,000% rise, right? Let's just do it from here. Let's say like you were able to get in while Bitcoin waddled around, right? I don't want to delete everything I have on here. Yeah. Oh, I'm going to have to wrap this up soon. We're almost an hour in. Right? You didn't catch the wick. You didn't catch the bottom. You didn't have an order placed. You weren't the magician who bought the bottom. Some of the gurus out there who say, I went all in. I've been in Bitcoin since here. I bought here and then I sold here. Yeah. Okay. But, you know, if let's say you got in average priced in here on Bitcoin at 6,500, right? Like, even like, let's say you were the genius and you caught the legitimate bottom of Bitcoin. That was 1692, 1,692%. But let's say, you know, you didn't catch the wick. You kind of caught it in between here, right? You got 1,000% rise there on Bitcoin. That same time period is all of this, right? So this is all of Bitcoin bouncing between $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000, $9,000. You stay in here. That's where you get in. That to the top is 4,500. That's 4.5 times bigger of a bull run than Bitcoin did. So your question is, you know, even if they only go to a retrace, you know, some of these have pretty big numbers left on them, right? Like Algorand, I'm not buying it, right? But like I could do math. I can be like, dang, that thing is way down. Like, if it only does a 50% retracement, right? Like, if it only, like, let's say it even goes down further, right? Let's say it goes way down here, it goes down like 5 cents or 6 cents or something. And, like, it retraces to here. Like, just those percentages are not baby percentages. Right? That's 2,000% just to get to 618. 1,600% to get to 50%. Yeah, and that's even just from way down here at 4 cents, 5 cents, right? From current prices, it's 900% to get to 0.5. You're not getting 900% with Bitcoin. Sorry. Like, it's not happening. You know, you're not going to get 1,000% for a retrace to the 618, and you're not going to get 1,300% on a retrace to 702. Still be a killer run, but how deep is it going to go? I don't know. And that's why, people are like, I bought the literal bottom. I'm the best trader in the history of the world. Okay, well, then go ahead and scream out loud that you just went all in on algo right now, and then we'll all find out. And I'm not talking to you, Jeremiah. Not Jeremiah. Hip flat. Not hip flat. Mr. Nobody. Sorry, guys. I'm slacking. But yeah, percentage wise, just even if these don't go back, they have huge percentages on them if the whole market shifts together. Okay. I'm moving on. Unknown. I gotta get going. I'm sorry. Unknown. Why is gold and Bitcoin going in the same direction? Aren't they supposed to be inversely correlated? Unknown. Come on, man. You have to watch at least a video on it, man. I feel like I've beaten this with like a stick. I've made videos, I've made newsletters, I've made everything on this. They can move all they want. Like, first of all, I think, I'm going to ask you this really quick before I answer your question, Unknown, and you have to say this to yourself in your own heart before I respond. Are you asking this question because you desperately want gold and Bitcoin to go together? If that's what you desperately want, then you're just not listening. Because that's not what the data says. So how are they going in the same direction? So there is never a situation where gold goes and breaks off into a new all-time high and goes in a bull run. Do you see that gold is ranging? Because I see that gold is ranging on a multi-year time frame. There's never a time where it breaks off and proves to be in a true bull run. It's definitely in a ranging market for the last 3 years, but not in a bull run right now. If it's going to go into a bull run, historically, never does the equity market go with it. It's one or the other. It's either the equity market goes or gold goes, or they both fall together. Now, once you can accept that, and you've done all the research and analysis, which I've done for everybody, and I've posted it in videos and in newsletters, that they are inversely correlated to each other without a doubt. It's unequivocal. It's not debatable. There is no debate about it. It's data, proven. Once people accept that, and then they're willing to not have the "this time is different" mentality, which is always the death trap. This time is different. If you accept it, that's what happens, is there's an inverse relationship between between gold and between equities, and then also come to the conclusion and acceptance that there's the correlation between equities and Bitcoin. I've done all the work for you. I've shown the gold bull runs versus the equities bull runs, and then I've shown the gold bull runs versus Bitcoin. Because we have such a shorter duration of data for Bitcoin, we only go back to 2009 for the data that we can look at. Even then, we can see it. We can see the inverse relationship on big moves for gold and for Bitcoin. So while we're ranging, can we find some things and say, oh, look, see, it's acting the same in this little range? Okay. But look at this big move over gold right here. This all happened while FTX is collapsing. This is why the sky is falling in crypto and gold is going up, right? And then we make these little moves, right? Then in February, what's happening with Bitcoin? Bitcoin's going up, gold's falling, right? And in March, what's happening? We're flying, right? So we pick these little points, people who want this gold and Bitcoin narrative to be true. We pick these little points and we say, see, look, we're acting correlated today. But instead of zooming out and looking at the real big picture, it's totally not true. Super massive inverse. If you are holding Bitcoin and you're holding gold for the exact same reasons that you think they're going to go to the moon together, you're going to be wrong. My thought is, at least you're going to be right on one of them. That's what my thought is. So I hold both, and one of them's a hedge for the other, right? So I think a bull run for gold would be not nearly as impressive as a bull run in crypto would be, but that it protects me. Hopefully, we don't have the data for the Great Depression for gold, because gold was stuck and fixed at a fixed price. like $20.65. But hopefully, sorry, I deleted everything. I don't want to do that. I'm going to need that another time. Hopefully, I don't know. I hope, I cheer for gold to crumble. And if you don't cheer for gold to crumble, it's a lack of understanding of gold. But man, I've done a lot on that. And I'm not sure if your question is pertaining to this particular moment or what, but just go back and look at the last year and you don't even have the same thing. But Sick Thinker, 5 gifts, man. Thank you so much, Sick Thinker, my dude. I don't know. I think I don't know how I feel about the new frog. You can't see it that well. I feel like we have to just make it his face. The new emoji frog. Like, you can't really tell what that is. Right? Let me see something. How do I access that? I can't. I'll have to show you another time. It looks like a bug splat. Yeah, it kind of does, right? Like, you cannot tell that's a frog when it's that small. Yeah, well, do you know what kind of frog that is? I looked it up. It's a weird frog. Yeah, he's waving. Yeah, he's definitely a waving frog. No, I don't really like that one, Mr. Q. I can't tell what that is. Does it look like a frog? A frog face. No, it's not an Austrian linking toad. Cardanzo. All right, I'm moving on. All right, Joseph Blank said, any idea why Grayscale Chain Link Trust is around $12? It used to be pretty much the same as Link. Weird. Much love. I don't know. I didn't even... Dude, they have so many of them. I don't even know what they are. Grayscale Chain Link. It's at 14. Bizarre. I don't know. Dude, and it's like up this week. Oh, weird. I don't know. But thank you, Joseph. Chris DeLeon says, what's up, my dudes? Hit that like button. Yeah, we're at 665. 1 hour into this thing, you guys. Robert Parsons, thank you so much, Robert. Hey, BCB, my theory is FOMO might kick in with XRP on Sunday and Monday, just being prior to the Hinman emails being released, and I also think a judgment will follow. Just my thoughts, but ever grateful for your content. Well, you know, that's always the worry, too, because what is that? That's a buy the rumor, sell the news thing. If FOMO kicks in prior to it happening, then what if they don't happen? What if, like, you guys are all paying attention to the fact that the SEC has to respond by the 13th. Right? Like, there are still some tricks up their sleeve. Like, the lawyers have pointed it out. There are tricks up the SEC sleeve that they can do to not do it on the 13th, but to, like, do other stuff that, like, delays more. So that would be the scariest thing. If there's a bunch of FOMO buying and then they delay. That would be a boom. They just respond with the frog emoji. Wait a minute. Oh, dang. It would have been so cool. The 13th is not on a Wednesday. But it means that, like, hopefully, like, it comes out at some point on 13th to Tuesday. And then when we come on Wednesday, it's like, we got it. It's Wednesday. All right. Thank you, Robert. I don't know. And like I said, I don't know if the Hinman emails are going to help us in any way, right? I mean, the judge already has everything. These Hinman emails are just for us, you know, and hopefully to wake Congress up a little bit. But as for the immediate results of XRP, like even if we read in the emails that it says, here's an email from Bill Hunnan to Jay Clayton. Hey man, I really hate those XRP guys on the internet. They're total jerks. You know what we should do to piss them off? We should make Ethereum a commodity, even though we know it's a security. And like XRP, that's a pretty good one. But screw it, we hate these guys. We're just gonna totally screw them. And let's just write a speech. Even if it says that, it doesn't change a thing. You know what I mean? So just to have our expectations set that these emails are not going to change anything. It's going to be summary judgment. And Congress has been toying with us, right? Warren Davidson, come on, man. You made some promises that nothing's happened, man. All right, Tay Brown. Thank you so much, Tay. All right, Super Chatter. 3 times this week. What situation is more likely, according to your analysis? 1 more XRP low, or 2 XRP stalls and retracements and eventually fires up? That's the thing. That's what I present every day. So your question is, what do I think is more likely? This or this, right? That's your question. We're at the retraces, dude. It's a hard one to make a call on while we're here. If we get the breakout, if we get above the retracements, I'll become hooting and hollering saying that's a breakout. But we sit here. It's just, all I could do is show all the examples of how this is the most dangerous level in a retracement. But if we get through it, we really open up the door for excitement. And like I've been moaning about, saying, hey, this is not bull run price action for XRP. This grinding stuff, this is for babies. Some of you guys have never been through that kind of stuff, right? This is stuff for babies. And the thing that was good about this was like we did the kind of same thing, right? Here's the difference. So we did kind of the same waves down here, but it would be like going from here straight back. No consolidation, no accumulation at the lows. That we kind of went like this just now. And we just went straight back without any accumulating happening down here at the lows. But you could see that here, right? Like strong rejection off that 786 comes in, right? And then waddles around to eventually break. And so if we get through them, that's why I talk about, we'll get exciting. I'll be getting really excited. But that, when we're back in retracements, these are the kinds of things, to worry about, right? So hopefully we break out, but I can't put a statistical probability on if we're getting out today or this week, or if we have to keep accumulating. These are the situations we're in right now. As a hair says, how to get to know the moment the SEC versus Ripple judgment is out. Follow me on Twitter. No, there's I of course would be tweeting like insanity when it does. You're going to find out on Twitter before you're going to find out on YouTube from anyone. This is naturally the order of operations. But James Phelan, he always is usually the one to post it right away when something happens. And then I'm sure Brad Garlinghouse will post. I'm sure Stuart Alderati will post. And then it'll get wild. But it'll be Twitter is the place where it comes out first. So if you're not following me on Twitter, follow me at BC Backer, where all of your tweeting dreams come true. Daniel Canyazales. says, Senor BCB, soon you'll have to make a video titled How the SEC Affected Matic, Cardano, Solano, and such. Guys, hit the like button. Thank you so much, Daniel. Yeah. Well, it'll be fun to watch in the future, right? You know, and the SEC plays dirty games. They've always done it. You know, it's one thing when you watch Elon Musk say, I have no respect for the SEC. It's so strange to see somebody of that magnitude talk so disrespectful of a government agency. And, you know, like everybody, you're probably like, I don't really like the IRS, right? I don't like paying my taxes. I don't get anything in return, right? You kind of like have the agencies. You're kind of like, you know, you have to be worried about the IRS. Like they're like, hey, pay your taxes. And you're like, okay, how much do I owe? And they're like, well, you should know that. And you're like, well, can you just tell me? And they're like, no. And I'm like, okay, well, what if I get it wrong? They're like, well, you're going to go to jail. And I was like, well, can you just tell me then? Nope, you have to guess. Well, I don't want to go to jail. This is not fun. This is a stupid agency. If you can't tell me how much I owe you. But it's like they do know, right? Like it's a game. If you don't know this in the United States, maybe you have to do that where you live. You have to do your taxes and you have to file them. And then the IRS checks to see if you did them right afterwards. And then they'll come back and tell you you were wrong and say you owe more money. But they'll never just like up front tell you here's how much you owe. And I think it's kind of like the sales tactic of negotiations when somebody says to you, you know, how much are you willing to pay for this? And you're kind of like, well, you know, I don't know. Tell me what you're offering, right? They're like, well, how much are you willing to pay? And we're like, well, no, you tell me how much you're offering. That it's kind of this same kind of like haggling thing that happens between U.S. citizens and the IRS, that the IRS wants you to report first because you may report income that they don't know about. And if they tell you right out the gates, here's how much you owe, and as long as you pay this, you won't get in any trouble, then all you're going to do is pay the minimum amount. But if they make you be the first one to do it, then there's a chance you're going to report some income that they don't know about, and then they're going to get that tax money from you. But anyway, we're supposed to be talking about the SEC. You see Elon Musk talk how poorly of the SEC. They play these dirty tactics. You're talking about how the SEC affected Matic, Cardano, Solano at just the right time. This agency is a timed agency in this market. They are watching markets. They know when to attack. No question about it. The SEC does. Unreal. It's insanely disgusting. And I will have no problem. I think John had said when to having me be an expert witness to prove it on stand that they're timing when they're doing things. I'll have no problem doing it. Crypto Pigeon. Yo, BCB, which dingus is 50? Oh, no. All right. He says, yo, BCB, guess which dingus is 50x leverage longing? Here he goes. Well, good luck, sir. By the way, Blockchain Backer does not support any leverage trading. This is it's how you get wiped out. It's how you get liquidated. It's how you lose everything. Very hard to lose everything in crypto, unless, of course, if you hold FTT token or Luna, and you're all in on that. But another very, very easy way to lose all of your money entirely, 100% gone, is with leverage. All right. Cole Metcalf says the rumor could cause the breakout, then retest. Oh, okay. So we're okay. Well, it's still we're speculating rumors and narratives and stuff like that. Maybe so. But you see, like in these, like there's no real retest, right? I mean, I guess there's kind of a little one right there. But gone. This one, we didn't really have a retest, did we? No. Gone. This was actually our breakout. So what was awesome about this one is like this is where we were all real excited. This is again is similar to where we're at right now for XRP. right? So that's what, like, pretend this is the C19 sell-off. Pretend this is your FTX collapse. This is our breakout. We just hit the 200-day moving average recently, and then we get going. And we're all real excited at this point because this was very similar to how we played out in 2017 as well before the market really took off. And then, of course, we get like a super aggressive takeoff. And we're like, holy cow, it's on, right? I mean, we're talking right here. We're 25 cents. Boom. We're way up here. 77 something. And then Bitcoin's going for it. So like if you've ever studied altcoin seasons and altcoins, there's really two scenarios where they can happen. They can happen when Bitcoin's breaking out into a new all-time high or when Bitcoin's into a retrace. And so Bitcoin's we take off. Bitcoin goes breaking out into a new all-time high. It's like, oh my gosh, here we go. Here we go. SEC comes in and attacks us and crumbles us while Ethereum goes, boom, let's go to the all-time high with Bitcoin. But anyway, yeah, that's me just, again, back to talking about the SEC. But yeah, there was no real retest in here. Unless we count the SEC doing their thing. Those mother flantas. Lampan Gary. Okay. All right. I'm done. A little bit of a price move there in the cryptocurrency market, it looks like. Right? A little bit. Yep. Cool. All right. That's it. We're going to wrap it up. I got to go. I got stuff to do. As always, guys, I always appreciate you guys coming out. Today's Thursday. Tomorrow's Friday, right? Tomorrow's going to be last day of the week. Let's go. We made it through like an insane week. I think we're holding up emotionally. I think as a crew, we're holding up pretty well through the chaos of the storm. And we'll check in again on it tomorrow morning. It looks like a lot of the stock market's turned green. You got Amazon up, Tesla, Nvidia, United Health, Coinbase is up today. Netflix, Microsoft, Apple, ARK, GE, and Facebook are all, up today. So, and obviously crypto holding steady. So, all right. Ladies, 5%. Gentlemen, 95%. I want to thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate you all coming out. This is always a great time. I'm super grateful for this. I love this part of my morning every single day. Every time when I get live, I still get a little bit of butterflies before I hit that go live button. I sit there, I take a couple of deep breaths. I said, are we ready? Are we ready? Are we ready? I hit the button and I say, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Boom. That's how it goes every day. And I always have a great time coming in here, and I love it when you guys pour into the chat and you just start saying, what's up, what's up, what's up, what's up, what's up. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you for all the support of the channel. But otherwise, I'll catch you guys tomorrow. So, all right, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. If you could, please like this video and give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can be notified of when I create new content and when I go live. As always, this is not investment advice, and I am not a financial advisor. But if you ever need a pick-me-up or a little bit of reassurance, just remember that the blockchain backers got your back. Have a good one.